I think this may be the biggest Soto update we've gotten in a while. What is going on, everybody? Welcome back to Red Soto Radio. My name is Corbin. I say Soto because officially this is starting to feel like the channel just dedicated to Soto's free agency. I did, in fairness, give you guys the opportunity or ask you guys if you wanted to talk about anything else, and you guys said, no, wait a second, we need to talk about this Soto news. And you're probably right, because this Soto news is by far and away, I think, the biggest Soto news regarding the Red Sox we've gotten in a very long time. So that's exactly what we're going to be talking about once again in today's video. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one. Let's get into it. Okay, so when I say this is really big Red Sox news regarding Juan Soto, I think this might be the biggest news we've gotten since their initial meeting, and that was leaked to the public. I think maybe you could put the fact that we know they're in the $600 million for Soto, and the fact that Sam Kennedy said they're willing to spend over the luxury tax, maybe in this category, but this news is right up there with those, and it's mostly because it's coming from a really reputable source. This isn't coming from someone who maybe has some inside information. This is coming from the most reliable Red Sox source out there in Alex Spear, right, who sort of cultivated this trust amongst Red Sox Nation and amongst reporters in general because of how accurate he's been throughout his career. He had a report last night that sort of set Red Sox Nation ablaze, or at the bare minimum, sent Red Sox Nation into a frenzy, and I will link the entire article down below if you want to read the whole thing. But for this video, I'm focusing on really one particular comment in this article, and this is the one that really got Red Sox fans going. For that reason, the Red Sox have expressed interest in an additional meeting in which Boras and Soto would identify a price that would get a deal done. Essentially, what Alex Spear is saying right here is that the Red Sox are through playing with their food. They want to eat, they want to get this deal done, and they're willing to do whatever it takes to get there as long as Boras and Soto are on the same page. And I don't know how many times we have to be told that the Red Sox are legitimate players in this thing until I finally believe it, but I'm pretty damn close with this Alex Spear article, right? This is Alex Spear. This is a guy who has built this reputation of being incredibly reputable in the industry, and he's saying, look, the Red Sox want to get this deal done. They're willing to go to any lengths to do it. And I think at this point, the pessimistic side of me still refuses to believe it. But when was the last time we actually had confirmation that the Red Sox were willing to go truly above and beyond to get a deal done? I think off the top of my head, it'd have to be David Price, right? All the way back in 2015, even with newer contracts that the Red Sox have signed that have been on the bigger side. JD Martinez, they waited him out until he was in a price range they were comfortable with. Trevor Story was the same conversation. Maybe you could put Masataka Yoshida into that category, but even if you want to consider that, that is a much less money-wise value player than Juan Soto is. It's been a long time since the Red Sox really, truly, publicly put everything they had on the line for a player, and I think that's exactly what we just saw last night with the confirmation that they are willing to just sit down with Boras and Soto and say, what's it going to take for you to sign with the Boston Red Sox? Let's figure this thing out. Now, before we go poo-pooing on this idea, which we will certainly do some of, I think we need to look at this from all angles. I do want to put this other quote from this Alex Spear article in here because I think it sheds some light as to exactly where the Red Sox are at in this. Moreover, the past need not be prelude. Patterns of what has happened do not dictate the future. The Sox motivation are now different than they were in past talks. And the last time they were in a position comparable to this after 2015, when a path beyond back-to-back last-place finishes was visible thanks to giant waves of young big leaguers and prospects, they signed David Price to the most expensive contract ever for a pitcher, right? Essentially, what Alex Spear is saying right here is that this time it's different. This isn't the Red Sox we've seen over the last couple of years. This is the Red Sox with a different intent. And again, we've heard this multiple times over this offseason. But again, coming from Alex Spear, I don't know. It just sort of hits different because of the reputation he's built up for himself. He does have a point, right? The last time the Red Sox were in a situation comparable to this, they gave out the largest pitching contract ever. Who's to say they don't give out the largest player contract ever with this Juan Soto signing? I think that's sort of the idea Alex Spear is going for with this quote, and I think that's absolutely something to consider because it goes beyond, hey, the Red Sox just want a meeting. It also points to the fact that, again, comparably to every other report we've gotten this offseason, offseason. The Red Sox aren't playing around this time. They do legitimately want this guy. Now, you can call me crazy if you must, but I'm starting to believe that the Red Sox are legitimately in here. It's taken a lot for me to sit here and be like, man, I think there's an actual shot Juan Soto ends up with the Boston Red Sox. You start to get little feelings here or there with reports that maybe aren't the most reliable, and you start to think, maybe this is possible. But once you get the reliable answers to the questions that you've been asking, then you could start believing it. I think that's what we're getting in this article. Now, what I will say is I don't think that this is officially time to start buying custom Juan Soto Red Sox merch, right? I don't think it's time to start photoshopping Juan Soto's head in a Red Sox cap on a Hall of Fame plaque or anything. I think there's still a long way to go here. And the big caveat with this quote is that it is not confirmed, or according to Alex Spear, it is unknown whether or not this meeting has been accepted or will be accepted. We did hear from Jeff Passan earlier this week that there could be another round of meetings this weekend before Soto ultimately makes his decision. So my guess is that if you are one of the other teams trying to get Juan Soto, you probably asked for this exact same meeting, right? It would be really dumb of the Mets, the Yankees, the Dodgers, the Blue Jays, whoever's still left in this Juan Soto sweepstakes to just let the Red Sox have the final meeting, right? It's probably going to be a bit of a tooth and nail fight here to get that final meeting for the Juan Soto services. Now, I will say the overarching idea amongst analysts so far this offseason was that the Yankees may have a chance to match a final bid or match a final offer. Jon Heyman, for whatever it's worth, we know he's a mouthpiece for Scott Boras, but he did come out and say, no, that's not entirely true. Scott Boras in Soto's camp does believe if the right offer comes along, they're going to take it and not let the Yankees match it. So I think that's a positive for the Boston Red Sox. But again, this doesn't ultimately mean that the Red Sox have right now exclusive bidding rights with Juan Soto. It shouldn't be something where we sit here and get unbelievably excited about, but it is something that I think we absolutely need to pay attention to. I think this is coming to a head very, very soon. We know Juan Soto's going to want to sign, or is most likely going to sign at the bare minimum by the end of winter meetings. I would say, according to most people, it's actually before winter meetings. I think most people are expecting a deal done for Soto by Sunday night, maybe Monday morning. So what I really think this does for the Boston Red Sox is put the ball in Soto's court. The Red Sox are essentially laying themselves on the line here, saying, look, we want you here. We want you in a Red Sox uniform. We're willing to do what it takes to get you in a Red Sox uniform. If you want to come here, we are going to make that happen. And again, I don't know how you take that as a bad thing, but I do think there is a way to do that. So ultimately, I think there are three ways to look at this Juan Soto news, especially from a Red Sox angle. The first way is the optimistic way, kind of the theme of this video so far. And that is that, hey, John Henry's sitting there. He's saying, look, I'm sick and tired of playing with my food. I want him. I need him. I'm going to figure out a way to get him on this team. I'm going to end this right here, right now. And again, that would be absolutely fantastic, but it is a bit of an optimistic way to look at it. The second way is sort of the middle of the road here. This is their final Hail Mary. Maybe they aren't favorites like everyone's been saying this entire offseason. Maybe they want to push themselves into being a favorite, and they're tossing the ball up in the last quarter to triple coverage to see if it lands in the right hands by saying, look, we're going to do whatever it takes. Maybe that pushes Soto in the Red Sox direction if he was looking to go to a New York team, or maybe even LA or Toronto or wherever he was originally planning on going. And obviously, you've got the pessimistic side of looking at this thing. You could sit there and you could say, well, wait a second here. Juan Soto probably isn't coming to the Red Sox. The Red Sox have had terrible PR over the last couple of years. Maybe this is them just simply understanding that Soto is not coming here. And if you put this out publicly, if he signs with another team, we could sit there and we could say, look, we tried our best, guys. I swear to God, we wanted to spend on this guy. It just didn't end up happening. To me, I think it's kind of a mix of both. I don't really think it's a true Hail Mary here, because if they were truly out, or they did have a feeling that they weren't going to get Juan Soto, I don't think the Red Sox would stay in this race just simply for the PR, because the PR would look a whole lot better if they just simply pivoted and made other moves. And waiting on Juan Soto does sort of take you out of being able to make other moves until a decision is made. So I'm not entirely sure that this is a Hail Mary shot, but it does kind of do both optimistically and pessimistically, right? I do think the Red Sox truly want Juan Soto at this point. I think they truly are willing to go to higher lengths than we ever thought possible to get this deal done. I just also think that this is a win-win for this Red Sox team, right? If they don't get Soto, well, they can sit there and they can say, hey, we tried. And you know what? They're right? This isn't something where they're just doing it PR-wise. This is something that they are legitimately trying for. And if they do land Juan Soto, well, this move looks absolutely genius. So it's kind of a win-win for this front office. It just sort of depends on whether or not you're looking at this thing optimistically or pessimistically. What I will say ultimately, too, is that we still don't know which way Soto's going to go. We still have no idea whether or not this meeting was accepted. We still have no idea whether or not the Red Sox are the team that is going to get this meeting. At the end of the day, ultimately, this is going to come down to where Juan Soto wants to be. It sounds like, at the bare minimum, the Red Sox, Yankees, and Mets are all playing in the same ballpark. The money's all going to be the same. It's going to come down to where Juan Soto wants to spend, at the bare minimum, the next few years, if not the next 14 years of his career. I'm just hoping at this point the Red Sox have enough of those intangibles to allow themselves to get there. I will say, and I've said this a couple of times here, there are legitimate reasons why Juan Soto isn't a perfect fit with the Yankees and with the Mets. There are reasons in terms of a baseball sense that they might not be the number one choice. The only thing that we have seen publicly that lends us to believe that the Red Sox should not get Juan Soto is that John Henry doesn't want to spend to get him here. If this is actually true, and if this is John Henry saying, I'm willing to spend to get him here, there should be really nothing holding Juan Soto back from being a Boston Red Sox, outside of the fact of maybe he just simply wants to be with New York, or hell, maybe the Toronto Blue Jays are offering way more money than anybody else. Even John Henry, Steve Cohen, and Steinbrenner can't get to that number. I honestly have no idea. If your head's spinning, you're certainly not alone, but luckily, for those of you who are sick of Red Soto Radio, this should be coming to an end very soon. We should be getting our next video about Juan Soto being whether or not the Red Sox land him. So keep an eye out for that. But until then, what do you think about this news? Is this as big of a news as I've been making it out to be? Is it less of a news than I've been making it out to be? What do you guys think about the Red Sox proposing this meeting to get a deal done? Do you like it? Do you not like it? Let me know all your thoughts on the latest on Juan Soto in the comment section down below. As always, if you made it to the end of this video, do me a favor. Make sure you guys have hit that subscribe button if you haven't already. If you're new here, we talk Red Sox content almost every single day. Also, make sure you guys have hit the like button on this video as well. It just simply helps out a ton, and it's the best way to let me know you're enjoying the content. Don't forget, if you want to listen instead of watch these episodes, best way to do that is head over to your favorite podcasting app and look up Red Seat Radio. Thank you all very much for clicking on this one, and I will see you in the Red Seats.